All right. Hi, everybody. Woo! I'm so excited. Today's a very, 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 very special episode from A Farmgirl's Kitchen. Today, I have been given permission by Audrey Bryce to make for you her raspberry squares. When I used to take Audrey to work at Fairfield Center School each day, she'd always come into my vehicle with a breakfast bar for me every morning, and it was always special. It's something that she shared with me for many years, and I've always loved them, but never had the recipe. So when I spoke with her yesterday, she gave Mary the permission to give me her recipe, and I already felt full and excited about it because I never thought I'd have the recipe. But then they also gave me the permission to share it with all of you guys in a video. So Audrey wants to see her bars made for everybody on a video. So that's what we're doing, is making this video of her bars today. I'm very excited. I'm not kidding. I'm trying to contain my excitement. I'm so excited. So it's really quick and easy, and I didn't even think it was this easy. I thought there must be some big giant mysteries about it, but it's really kind of neat and cool, and I don't know how she came up with such a really cool recipe, but here we go. We're going to start with, what are we going to start with? 2 sticks of butter. How many things used to start with butter, right? 2 sticks of butter for sure. And it's not a cup of regular sugar like I've got here. It's brown sugar. So I must make myself a quick cup of brown sugar, because I was thinking it was sugar, but it's not. It's brown sugar. So again, live, Rachel Ray, you've got somebody who'll run around and fill your stuff for you, but me, I don't. So I'm just kind of making my own sugar thing here quickly. Oh my goodness, what a faux pas. What a faux pas. So yeah, so I got to see Audrey yesterday, and she looks fantastic as always. She's such a love. I absolutely love that woman. Oh my goodness, we're not going to be quite full, so I'm actually going to have to get a smidge out of a bag up here. We'll talk about messing up a show. This is her special raspberry square recipe, and what I'm going to do with it to make it special is it has raspberry jam in it. And I'm obviously, going to use my homemade raspberry jam in these squares. So that's going to make it our recipe now, in a sense, because it has my beautiful homemade jam in it. So I'm making 1 cup of packed brown sugar, and I'll put that in the container later. So there you go. Well, that was a faux pas. And the thing to do is to cream them together first. So that's what I'm going to do, is cream them. Now, creaming them means that it needs to be light and fluffy, and you put the sugar in with the butter. So as you can see how it changed consistency, I'm sure you probably can see in there how it changed consistency, how it's kind of got the granulation in there for sure. Brown sugar doesn't get as fluffy and light as white sugar, so when it said cream together, I was kind of surprised that it wasn't white sugar, that it was brown sugar instead. But it is going to cream some, but not when you've got white sugar. It really does cream light. And that's how nice and light that is. You can see the consistency difference. So now I'm going to start using this to stir with, because the next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I always keep my baking soda in a container like this, because the job of baking soda, if you've ever watched the commercials or seen anything about them, the job of baking soda is to absorb odors when it's not doing its job in baking. And I don't want it to absorb any odors in my cupboard, so I always leave it in that kind of a container. Okay, and then the rolled oats, which, just quick oats right here. I need 2 cups. 1. And I'm using the quick kind. She did not differentiate, but I bet you anything it's the quick kind. So I'm assuming that it is quick. I'm thinking that it could be the long cooking ones, and that's okay. Just the pieces will be much bigger. And then I have 2 cups of flour. Oops. I just, literally just before I started this, I just swept the floor from flour because I've done so many pies and everything. I had some flour on the floor again, and I was like, oh, what a terrible housekeeper I've been lately. I've been baking so much, I've been getting flour on the floor all the way around my baking center. And I just poofed a whole bunch more out there again. So much for keeping it perfect and clean. And so this is what we're going to start with. We are going to mix this together. Again, this is my first time making it, so I'm very excited. And I don't know what it's going to look like or feel like yet, but I can only guess just by reading the recipe. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. It's already mixing out well. I can feel the granular of the oatmeal. Oh God, did I love eating these. She knew when I picked her up because she was a grandmother at Fairfield Center School for quite a few years actually. And I used to pick her up on my way to work because I worked at Highgate School. And I would stop and pick her up, and she always had one of these bars for me. And she knew that I did not eat breakfast before I left for work because it was pretty early in the morning. It was between 6 and 6:30 when we would take off. And so she knew there was no time for breakfast and I wouldn't eat till I got there. And so she always had one of these beautiful bars for me. It's funny because once in a blue moon, she wouldn't have a bar because she didn't have time to make something or whatever. And she'd bring me a granola bar that she'd, like a nice chocolate chip one or something that she'd had from the store. And I'm like, you're not supposed to have to feed me for breakfast, Audra. And she'd be like, nope, I'm going to make sure you start your day out good. I'm going to give you something for breakfast. So it was kind of fun. Okay, so see how this is all mixed together now? You don't see a lot of the flour on the bottom anymore. It's really kind of, the butter's drawing it all in. It's kind of like when you're starting your crust for your pie, how you want to get all that flour sucked in there into the moisture. Well, that's what I've done here. See, every time I go to the edge, there's no more flour. See? So now you're going to go, and she did not tell me whether I'm supposed to spray a pan or not because whether it sticks. So just in case, I did do let me just fall out of my phone. I did do the Baker's Joy, the baking one for cakes and stuff. So I did spray it a little bit because I wasn't sure. So now what we do is we take half of this batter. I just want to see what half looks like here. Okay, so there's some way I can differentiate for half. Half of this batter. And we're going to put it down into the pan, press it into the pan. I can already taste how yummy these are. Oh, I used to love these. Such a big deal. And actually, this is the kind of bar that, not something you usually talk about when you're baking, but to be honest with you, this bar has all the right ingredients in it to keep you on a regular bathroom schedule. So this is a good breakfast thing instead of buying those commercial ones that might do that for you. They have all kinds of ingredients in it that is not necessary for you to have in your body. And you can see that this has some all natural stuff in it, especially if you make the jam like I do, you know what's in the jam as well. Always try to go for your homemade before you buy something commercially because there's so many additives and ingredients. You know what gets you in stuff that's made commercially is those stupid colors. The colors that are in a lot of food to make it look a certain way is so hurtful for you. It's so cancerous to have all those dyes. So whenever you can go for something natural like this, opt for it. And then you're supposed to take a 10-ounce jar of raspberry jam. And this is where I think is so cool because I never knew she did this. I never knew it was raspberry jam. I used to give her my jams all the time. All the jams I'd make. And I used to give her different kinds of jams, and I thought she was eating them on her toast or whatever, but I think she was using them in bars now. The cool thing about this, I've realized if we're going to use this jar of jam inside of this recipe, you could turn these bars into anything. They could be blackberry bars. They could be triple berry bars. All those jams I have in my closet, I've got triple berry, strawberry rhubarb, raspberry. Did I say blueberry yet? No, not blueberry. And when the blackberries come in, I'll have that too. So essentially, any kind of jam you have, if you want peach. Imagine peach would be cool in here if you're a peach person, like if you like your peach jams or peach. Essentially, these are raspberry, for sure, raspberry bars, but you could lay this with any kind of jam that you've made homemade, and it could be different every time you make them, or just make them beautiful the way they are. So she just spreads this over. make it where it spreads well. I'm not sure what size are these jars. What size are the canning jars? Do you know?
Why are you asking me?
I'm trying to think. It doesn't say anywhere on there. Because do I need more than this? I meant to put it in I want to say they're 8 ounce, right? Yeah, they are. They are 8 ounce. So hold off. I got to put a little more in there. Hang on, guys. I'm getting a little more jam here. Yes, because those are only 8 ounce, and she said to put a 10 ounce jar in here. So I just went in the pantry and grabbed another one. So yeah, because those jam jars I believe are only 8 ounce. So I'm going to put more. Okay, so probably take, whoops, there, and then just spread them around. And I don't think this knife is going to help me. I almost think I'd be better off with a spoon or a spatula, yeah. That's probably a good idea, but I was thinking of this little guy where I could reach right in there so I didn't have a long handle. I'm just going to spread it onto the edges. Oh, this looks fantastic already, doesn't it, guys? Look how fun this is. And I guess you could control how much you want on here. If you want them to be thick bars, then you can put more jam on it. If you want them to be thin, you could put less on there. There we go. Isn't that fantastic, everybody? Whoa. Check it out. I feel like I've got enough in there. Y'all think that that's coated enough? Tim, you think so? Or should I add just a little bit more maybe? There we go. Here, so I'm just making sure there's some everywhere in here. How exciting. Yeah, because I know those jam jars are like 8 ounces because of what I'm making for jam. So, all right. And then the next thing is just as simple as everything else is pour the rest on top. And actually, probably be easier to do it with your hand to make sure that it's, because you can't move it so well afterwards. I think crumbling it like this with your hand would be better. I almost think I didn't break it up evenly, that there's more on top than that's on bottom. It's hard to tell. You don't think so? Nope. It's hard to tell exactly where I was in the middle. Look how beautiful this is. Now this is going in a 375 oven for 20 to 25 minutes. No cover or anything on it, just going right in the oven. And I'm making sure that all the jam that's underneath is covered by something so that it's not poking out. So I'm just kind of, I think it was much smarter to do it with my hand than it was a spoon, huh? Because I was controlling it so much better. Oh my goodness, I can already taste them. And that is how simple that is. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients to this absolutely more than yummy breakfast bar. And this was certainly one of the many things she was famous for. If you've never had Audra's baked beans, oh my God, heaven. That woman made the best baked beans. I always asked her whenever she made some, she'd put some in a container and in the freezer for her because it took so long to make them. She'd put a few in the, she'd put like little Rubbermaid containers or whatever in the freezer for herself. She'd pull a little bit out each time. But she always saved some aside and she'd send some home in a little container for me. And oh, I always felt so good. I loved sharing kitchen with Audrey. I loved, definitely love, her birthday is January 2nd. And so we always did like a New Year's birthday thing, and I'd go up and we'd have a little sniffer of a drink together. And we've had our years and years of traditions, but I never thought I'd get to own this amazing recipe, and I thank you so much, Audra. So it's going in the oven right now, 375 for 20 to 25 minutes, and then you just cut them in squares and enjoy. Audra, I love you. I love everything about you. Thank you for our time this weekend, and I look forward to more time together. Bye, everybody.